Hi, hello, I'm Hal, welcome back to my channel. I'm just about to set off for a trip with some friends to Auchinleck House, which is in Ayrshire in Scotland, and I just wanted to quickly introduce that. It's very similar to when I went to Morpeth last year, in December last year, and we're just gonna hang out and be in nature and not connected to the internet. So hopefully I'm going to vlog a little bit of that, and then I've also decided to pick up some books to read when I'm there as well. The theme to the books that I've picked up, which are these three, is that these are all books that I primarily heard about through tumblr.com. So I thought that would be fun. I've been thinking about doing a blog like a reading blog like this for a little bit of time. So yeah, these are the three. So the first one up is Running Close to the Wind by Alexandra Rowland. I'm a big Alexandra Rowland fan. I really loved A Taste of Golden Iron and Yield and the Great Persuasion by them. They have a fantasy romance book coming out soon that I'm super excited for. But yeah, this is set in the same world as A Taste of Golden Iron, and it's a pirate kind of adventure sort of situation. This is a situation where I believe I saw a post by the author themselves on Tumblr kind of recommending this book. It wasn't something that I picked up based on that. I ended up seeing a similar post recommending Yield and the Great Persuasion, which then meant that I looked at what was available through my library, ended up picking up A Taste of Golden Iron and really loved it, and then this is kind of the third one that I'm picking up. So yeah, excited about that. So yeah, queer pirate adventure full of magic and mayhem, it says as a tagline. So very excited for this. The next one is Apparently Sir Cameron Needs to Die by Greer Stothers. This is a situation where I follow this author on Tumblr. They also post about their now 3 cats, Panga, Grim and Belphegor or Belphy. So I mainly followed them for that and the artwork and the enamel pins that they used to do, but then they decided to write a book and get it published, and this is their first book. So yeah, I'm really excited. This is a kind of unlikable, cowardly knight is picked as a human sacrifice for some reason, and then ends up having to make a deal with the evil sorcerer and they fall in love. I don't know. It's apparently a ride, so I'm picking it up. I thought that the cover and the sprayed edges look cool, and it was, it's a paperback, so it wasn't too expensive to pick up. And then the third book is The Goblin Emperor by Katherine Addison. This is a book that I've known about for years and years. It was first published in 2014, and I believe, yeah, maybe not there or thereabouts, but this is something that's been on my radar for several years. Definitely pre-pandemic, I would say. All I know is that this is a political fantasy novel and that there's no romance in it, because I was specifically getting information about this through some of the people who I follow who are ace and or aro, because of the fact that I'm ace, and so this was kind of being recommended within those circles. So yeah, it's the youngest half-goblin son of the emperor slowly being thrust into a position of power and all the political machinations that are involved in that. So this is very much up my political fantasy kind of avenue. I finally saw a copy of this in a bookstore and I picked it up because, again, it's a book that I've been interested in for a very long time and never been able to find it online through a library. made it to Auchinleck, which is, as I mentioned, big house. We're staying here with friends. I think there's like 12 of us in total. It's like a landmark trust property, so you can stay in it. As you can see, big old house. It was, at some point, the Boswell family lived here, which is like the James Boswell, who was the biographer to Samuel Johnson, who is the guy that is referenced in Sherlock Holmes when he's like, my dear Boswell. So like, you know, normal things. But yeah, really fun. Obviously travelled here by train to get here. I got quite a bit of reading done. This is, obviously I started with Running to the Wind. No, Running Close to the Wind even is the title of this book. About 200 pages in. I'm having a really good time with this. The only things that I knew going in was like queer pirate romp. And reading it, I remembered that actually when I did see the post by Alexandra Rowland promoting this book initially, they were like, it's really funny, but it's funny in a way that I think will work for people who like are on Tumblr and have a certain type of humour. And I think they were right, because like this is really fun in like that specific kind of way. But yeah, I'm having such a fun time with this. You have your main character Abra, who is from the Azerati Empire, which is like the empire that was mentioned in A Tis Called an Iron, because like I mentioned, they are set in the same world. He is like a, whatchamacallit, he was like working for the government, he was a civil servant. So in this world there are there's a big sea, and in the sea there are sea serpents, and during a period of time over the summer the sea serpents are mating, and the Maserati Empire is the only place that has a secret as to how they can pass through the sea whilst the sea serpents are mating. They've made this pact with the pirates where basically they send food to like the smuggler's cove, but in return the pirates can't attack any of the Empire ships. And Abra kind of accidentally steals the plans to the solution to passing through the sea serpents and ends up running away, and by chance ending up with the pirate crew that he used to be like travel with, and the captain of this travel crew, Captain Tabari, or Tev, who he used to also have a relationship with, and kind of we're getting up to some hijinks. We're doing, you know, crazy sea pirate stuff. This is really fun. It's really, really funny. Avra is like so funny as a character. He's very much a little gremlin in the same way that, is it Tam? One of the characters from Under Yield and a Great Persuasion is. But like kind of like turned up to absolutely ridiculous levels. He's a lot of the source of the humour in this book. He's throwing himself into ridiculous situations. He's saying ridiculous things. We're literally introduced to him and he realises like what the pirate ship is that is coming to the ship that he was already on. And he's like, oh, like I need to obviously apologise. And some of the pirates turn up and he's like, hey guys, it's me. Do you think that Tev would like my apology more if I was hogtied? And then the next scene is him hogtied and Tev is not impressed by the situation. Tev is really cool. They've got like a fake eye, like very like pirate captain. I think that they're really fun. There's some other characters, obviously, that they've made it to like the pirate smuggling cove, and there's like a new representative for the Empire that Abra is having to deal with because they're pretending that nothing was stolen from the like break-in into the like ship guards, which to be fair is correct. So I believe it's the same break-in that is like the catalyst to the plot in also A Taste of Gold and Iron, where like nothing is really stolen, but then Abra goes in and does steal something. But yeah, like, so there's like that going on. There's some new members to the pirate crew as well. Yeah, just like really funny, really fun. I assume that, well, I mean, Abra and Tev have like at least rekindled some of their like sexual relationship. I assume they're gonna rekindle their romantic relationship possibly. But yeah, just having a really good time, genuinely like laugh out loud funny in some places. But yeah, that's kind of my update. Probably gonna read some more of this before I go to bed, but just thought I would update you whilst I have pretty good lighting in my room. Camera's right in front of a big window, so that's where I am. I have just finished Running Close to the Wind by Alexandra Rowland, which I did read in 2 days, which is no longer something that's usual for me. So it's what, like 470 pages that I read in 2 days. I keep on forgetting that I'm a quick reader because I read like 65 pages a day, and then I get an opportunity like this to like let loose and absolutely devour a book that's also really fun, and I do read the entire thing in 2 days apparently. But yeah, like my middle of the road update, this is really fun. It's really funny. There are genuinely multiple, like, at least for me, laugh out loud moments. I love Abra. Abra is such a like little gremlin in a really funny way. And yeah, like obviously like a lot of this book is like really funny. The underlying thing that's going on is them like, you know, finding out this secret about how the Rusty ships like get over the sea, and then like having that as like a focal like point around like society and injustice and like monopolies by empires, which I think is really fun, especially considering that the other book that I've read in this world is about the like imperial family, basically. A very different side to the world that we're seeing in this book. I think in my midway point I was talking about the relationship between Tev and Abra. This actually ends up being like a bit of a throuple in the end. There is another character that I did not mention but is mentioned on the back called Brother Julian, who is a very hot monk who is also involved, and I thought that that was also really fun. Yeah, just genuinely had like a really good time with this. There's a cake competition, like it's so silly, but also like, yeah, just really good. It's, again, I love everything, at the moment, everything that Alexandra Rowland has ever written, I have absolutely loved and adored. And this is no exception. Again, it is a lot funnier, it's much more comedic than the other two books. I mean, Yielding of Great Persuasion is, again, quite funny as well, whereas, like, A Taste of Color 9 is a serious romance book, I guess. Like, it's played straight, whereas this is like a funny time. In terms of like the relationship development in here, it's nothing like, you know, it's not yearning or, you know, anything like that. It's just these people like hanging out and getting closer to each other, and also having moments that are incredibly funny and joking around like sex and things like that. Are some of the bits like maybe, you know, sometimes a little bit overall? Yeah, but I think that some of the like humor is the fact that it's over top in some places. But yeah, I had an absolutely fantastic time. I think I would willingly read anything that Alexandra Rowland ever wrote. Like, I think they're one of those authors where it's, you know, a grocery list. Like, with like I mentioned, they're releasing a fantasy romance book, and they ran this through Kickstarter. It sounds incredibly interesting, but like, obviously as part of that you get like updates, and those were already good. And then one of the like tiers was like a video being like, woe is me, why do like good things happen to people that are just kind of okay? Hysterical. Like, genuinely hysterical. Like, they are a very funny person. Had a great time with this. Would definitely, like, I think, like I mentioned in the other one, like, it's a very specific type of humor, and it's a very silly kind of stuff going on in this book. So there are obviously like deeper themes going on as well, and some like very good conversations around that, but like, it is very, very silly. But yeah, so that's the first book that I finished. It's, you know, it's like Tuesday after dinner, you know. It's like Wednesday evening. I have managed to get about halfway through The Goblin Emperor by Katherine Addison, so I thought I would actually sit and tell you some of my thoughts, maybe a bit better of a like summary of what the plot is going on. So this is a fantasy book where I'm following our main character Maya, who is the fourth and youngest son of the emperor in this world. He is also a half goblin, so most of the population in this world that he's dealing with are elves. They are very, like, they're white, they're very pale, they've got pale hair and everything, and whereas goblins are, like, black as in the colour, so Maya is, like, grey, which obviously marks him as very visually different from everyone else. His mother was, like, not very well favoured with the court. He's lived away from the court basically his entire life. And at the beginning of this book, there is an airship crash that kills his father and also his, I believe, 3 older brothers, which means that he is now in line. Well, not even in line, he is now the emperor and has to very quickly kind of obviously find his own footing within this world. He has obviously, for a period of time, he lived with his mother, and then when his mother passed away, he was living with one of his cousins who did not like him very much, and so is dealing with a bit of that and having the, like, freedom to, like, have other people that will listen to him that aren't his cousin who hates him. And yeah, it's, like, it is a very dense, like, fantasy political novel, I will say. Like, we start off, there's a contents page, there are some notes on language, and then, like, you know, pages of, like, dramatis personae, you know, and, like, things and stuff like that. I will also say, like, it is quite also, like, with how this is printed, this is not only, I believe, like, a smaller font size to, like, Running Close to the Wind that I was reading, but also I feel like the margins are a lot smaller on this. Like, there are more words per page going on, and as well as that, I feel like the language is quite archaic as well, especially the spoken language that's written in ways that I think are really interesting. So Maya, we basically meet Maya and immediately he gets the news of this airship accident, and basically now that he's emperor, he refers to himself with like as we, with this like plural pronoun. We do refer to people with, like, we are using thou, so we're using thou as a informal second person pronoun and you as a formal second person pronoun. We do have some moments where Maya is using I in very specific situations, but that kind of archaicness to the language is kind of throughout kind of a lot of the spoken language, which again makes it a little bit more dense. But yeah, we're basically following Maya as he has to kind of, you know, deal with the power grabbings that goes on. There is obviously, quite quickly, we're finding out that the airship accident may have had some sabotage going on. There's definitely some political factions forming, especially at this point, like halfway through the book. I think I'm getting to where, like, the big, like, one of the bigger plot kind of grievances are going to be. There's obviously stuff going on with the fact that Maya is half goblin. I think what's mentioned is that, like, the emperor hasn't in 150 years, like, met with a foreign dignitary, which is a whole thing if your previous emperor had married a goblin woman who is a foreign dignitary. From what it sounds like, they're, like, 2 very neighbouring countries. So yeah, it's, like, very different. It's a lot slower than especially something like Running Close to the Wind, which is, like, quick and, like, laugh out loud funny, but, like, I do enjoy a dense political novel, I have to say. I am having a very good time. I like being thrown into the deep end and having a bunch of words being thrown at me and going, I'll work out what this means. But yeah, I think Maya is really interesting as a character. He's very much, like, trying to do his best in ways that I think are going to be disadvantageous to his role as the emperor, but, like, are really cute. You know, he's, like, faced with, obviously, like, 3 of his, like, brothers have died. I think one of his sisters was previously trying to they were trying to marry her off, and he's basically like, okay, we're not going to make a decision, we're in mourning, you can go and do whatever you want to do. Which is not, like, politically probably the best decision to make in that situation, but I think speaks to, like, him as a character in ways that are really fun. He's very much trying to honour his mother in a lot of things that he's doing as well, which I think is really cute. Yeah, I'm having a good time. I know I previously said that there, like, isn't romance in this. Obviously part of the, like, political stuff that's going on is that he needs to, you know, there are a lot of, like, marriage negotiations going on. He needs to find himself in, like, a marriage situation, but, like, there's not, like, you know, halfway through the book, there isn't, like, a romantic partner in that kind of way. There isn't, like, a romance subplot. It is a lot more of the, like, higher level kind of politics and discussions. as well as obviously an investigation into what's going on with the airship accident as well. But we're just kind of getting updates as Maya gets updates kind of thing. But yeah, I'm having a very fun time. It's very fun. I think this is what I was expecting. But yeah, I'm having a good time. It is very different. It's kind of why I decided to pick it up as like the second book, because I was like, I'll read, because I previously like read something that was a bit more serious. I was like, I'll read one of the like funnier books that I have, you know, the less serious book, and then I'll read The Goblin Emperor, and then I'll read again a less serious book if I've got time. So yeah, I'm having a good time with this. I finished The Goblin Emperor last night, but it was quite late, so you're getting the update quite early this morning. I really like this, which is kind of what I was expecting, because I do enjoy a like political fantasy novel. I thought that Maya was a great character. I got really invested in this story. It definitely made me tear up a couple of times as well. And yeah, I just like had a great time with this. It's been a while that I've read a book which is just like a straight fantasy that has like no like romantic subplot in it, because I do enjoy reading like queer fantasy romances, I've gotta admit. But yeah, this was really fun. I just love like being thrown into like a world and then having to like piece together what's going on and all the like various little customs and stuff like that. I love the description of like clothing and jewelry in this world. Maya as the Emperor wears a lot of white, and a lot of that description is really nice. I really love the way that like often like ear movement is described to like signify like mood as well. It's just those like little details that really like flesh out the idea of a world as well. But yeah, I had a great time. Definitely up there and stuff. Today is the last day of the holiday. We do have to get out of the house quite quickly, but I'm travelling back home, so I do have some time. I did start apparently Second Needs to Die last night. I'm probably going to read what I can, and it might just be like a midway update that you get in this vlog, and then obviously I will review my thoughts at the end of the month. But I think that's the most reasonable kind of thing, because I am definitely winding down a little bit in the number of pages I'm reading per day, and I don't want to like push myself, especially because I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna have to do laundry and like catch up with everything that I've not had to think about for a week, which is lovely. Definitely needed a break, but like it means that I don't have like nothing to do for hours at a time that I can spend reading in quite the same way. fantasy. I have in fact made it back home, home sweet home, and I'm also now about halfway through Apparently So Cameron Needs to Die. So yeah, this is a like fantasy book. There are also some more like sci-fi elements in here, which I do always enjoy. I enjoy a book that mixes sci-fi and fantasy, like whichever way around that is. And we're following our main character, Sir Cameron. He's like a rich, hot, blonde knight who is kind of pathetic and a coward and kind of weaselly, and basically at the beginning of no one likes him. And at the beginning of this book, his like one friend Glenda is, you know, taking him like out of the city. There's been some kind of big meeting, and he finds out the reason he's been taken away is that there is a prophecy that he needs to die so that Marullo, who is this evil sorcerer who about like 40 years before was like, I'm gonna kill God, can be defeated. And he does not like the idea of being killed for this, so decides to instead offer himself up to Marullo to like basically protect himself, and we kind of go from there. It is like quite funny in a similar way to like Running Close to the Wind, I would say, but like not as laugh out loud funny to me, but also again similar in a similar way, has a lot of heart in like these characters. And yeah, like there is a bit of a romance going on between Cameron and Marullo. It's very like, it has a very specific narrative voice, which I think works really well for it. I do enjoy all of the chapters have little chapter subheadings where you get a little summary of kind of what happened in the chapter, and I think that's often like the funniest part, which to be fair I did know going in because again I followed this author on Tumblr as they were writing it. I do know some of the like behind the scenes information, if you will. But yeah, I'm having a really good time. It's very readable, it's quite funny. I think the only downside to this book is that I'm reading it following reading like some really, really excellent books, and this is like very solid. But you know, I am aware of the fact that this is good, but not like absolutely fantastic. But I think definitely as I've gotten more into it, I have become more and more invested in this story and having more and more of a fun time in this story. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where we're gonna go. We have had an event happen, which I'm excited to see how things are gonna pan out post this event. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So and I'm probably just going to leave my final thoughts on this book to be kind of a bit of a mystery until my wrap up at the end of the month. But yeah, those are all the books that I managed to get through. So I think in total, Running Close to the Wind and The Goblin Emperor are both about 460 pages. Running Close to the Wind is 467 and The Goblin Emperor was 465. And I have read also about 190 pages of Apparently So Cameron Needs to Die. I'm probably going to read a little bit more of this evening, but you know, in terms of the video, I've read like 1,122 pages apparently, and that's been since like Monday morning. Yeah, it's weird. Like in some ways I'm really happy. Like this was a really fun thing to try out. I enjoyed all of the books that I've read or I'm still reading. It's very much like giving me the confidence that I can read like a lot of pages quite quickly, which I've always known about myself. I do know that I have a quick reading speed, and that if I put more time into my reading I would definitely get through more. At the same time, I am looking forward to like being back on my like mandated 65 pages a day, because this is a lot. It was a lot of work still. Obviously it was fun, I do enjoy to read, but it was definitely something that I could do because I was hanging out in a big house without internet, and so the things that we were doing were reading or puzzles or like board games or going on walks, and that was really fun, but I'm not doing that every single day. I cannot put aside like 3 hours of reading when I normally work 9 till 7, 4 days a week, you know? So fun in that I've proven something to myself in that kind of way, but I don't think it's going to be a regular occurrence unless I go on one of these like trips again. I hope that you're also reading some good books. I hope that you're having a good time at the moment. Bye!